Most of our favourite travel destinations have one thing in common. They're places we went to with no expectations. They weren't world-famous landmarks that often leave you feeling underwhelmed. They were places we'd never heard of days, hours, or even minutes before that we just stumbled upon during our trip and fell in love with. And we've just found another one of those places. Hi, we're Claire and Craig, and we're currently travelling around Europe in our self-converted campervan. After spending the past week in Germany, we crossed into Denmark and planned to spend up to a week travelling through the country on our way to Norway. But then we arrived at our first stop, Rømø, an island we hadn't even heard of the previous day, and our plans changed. Apparently this island has the largest sand beach in Northern Europe, and we're at one of the beaches now. You can actually drive onto this beach, which we're not sure whether we should do or not. We'd quite like to do it. We've never done it before, but we're slightly worried that the van's going to get stuck, but we have seen there's a few other motorhomes on the beach, so... Yeah,
that's one of my biggest nightmares is getting stuck on a beach or something in the van and not knowing how to get off.
Okay, we're going to try it. We're going to try driving on the beach, and hopefully we're not going to get stuck, but since there's lots of other vehicles on the beach, we're going to try. We're doing it, we're driving on the beach. Haven't got stuck yet. We just stopped here to have lunch. Now the sun's come out, it's just nice, so we're just going to go and explore more of the island. We've made it off the beach and we didn't get stuck. Craig was really worried about that.
Ended up having quite a lot of fun actually, more fun than we probably should have. Just driving around like idiots on the beach.
Yeah, now we're just having a look, see what else we can find on this island. Just found a nice little promenade to have a walk along. Nice and flat, easy for Craig to walk along, and right next to the sea, which I think all promenades are.
Yeah.
There's so many really nice looking cyclepaths everywhere. I really wish we had our bikes with us. We then decided to find somewhere to spend the night. Free camping seemed to be very much prohibited on Rømø, and all of the campsites on the island were full. So we ended up crossing back over to stay at a site on the mainland, which actually ended up being one of our all-time favourite campsites. We're back on the island of Rømø today, and we went to the tourist information office to find out what there is to do. And now we're here at this school here, which is one of the smallest and oldest schools in Denmark. I think it was built in 1784.
Yep.
And the first teachers in this school were local farmers and seamen, captains of the ships and stuff, who were like the well-educated people who could read and write and calculate and navigate. And they taught the kids here, but it's basically just one little room just there with one long table, and that seems to be it. But unfortunately it's closed for renovation, so we can't go inside, but we've just been peering through the windows. So now we're going to continue driving around the island and checking out some more of the things that there is to see. Behind me over here is an area where you can go and pick your own oysters, but at this time of year it's too warm, there's too much sun, and the sea is not cold enough to cool them down, so they're not actually safe to eat. But in the colder months, when it is a lot colder, you can go along, walk along the beach and collect your own oysters and pick them. So next up we're driving to some bunkers, which apparently you can go inside of and have a look around. So Craig actually ended up missing the turning for the bunkers, so instead we're going to carry on down this road to one of the beaches that we were going to see. This beach is apparently the widest and longest, was it? Or just widest? Or biggest, I don't know. Some largest beach in Europe, Northern Europe? Northern Europe. 1.5 kilometers wide from the edge of the beach out to sea, and then between 9 and 12, did he say, kilometers? It's a bit disputed. Oh my gosh, we're just driving straight onto the beach. The road just turned into beach, just like that. We're on the beach. So this is the largest beach in Northern Europe, and it does look pretty huge from what we can see so far. Definitely looks bigger than that one we were on yesterday on the other side of the island. Wow. This sand is really, really hard. One of the most compact sands I've ever been on, so no wonder you can drive on it. But you just have to make sure that you drive on the darker coloured bits of sand and not the light, soft, fluffy stuff that you might get stuck in. This is the easiest driving I've ever done. There's no obstacles. There's the other cars are so far around. There's no speed limits, no side of the roads to drive on. And this is my first time driving in Denmark. I've just walked down to the sea, and from here you can really get a sense of just how big the beach is. And if you turn around here, look, you can see just how big this beach really is. Like, because it's so flat, just as far as you can see in the horizon, on both sides it's just beach. And then up this way is a 1.5 kilometers until you get to the end of the beach. So this beach is just absolutely huge. We're done with the beach now, and we're going to attempt to see the bunker again, and this time it's my turn to try and not miss the turning. We've made it to one of the bunkers, not the one I think I saw in the picture, because this wasn't what I was expecting to look at. A little bit disappointing, I think. Actually, it's just a big hunk of concrete in the sand, as far as I can tell. Do you have any more to add?
No, it was very difficult to get here.
Difficult to get here, and yeah, not that much to see, not necessarily worth it. It does have these like little bits here that you can go inside. Don't know if you can see if it's too dark, but we're the only people here, so at least there's that nice aspect about it. Right, we're gonna go and see if we can find the other bunkers now and see if they're any more impressive. We've just found another bunker up here, and this one looks a little bit better than the last one, so let's go and have a look.
It looks like this bunker's probably fallen over at some point. Everything's a bit on its side in there.
I'm inside. It's not very big, and it's not quite what I was expecting. It's just a couple of stairs and that bit there, and then this big hole here. I thought they were supposed to be things that they're bunkers that they hid in World War II. Apparently they're from World War II, but maybe they were more like lookouts or something rather than like the shelter type bunkers. Just found another one here, bunker number 3. This time I'm standing on top of it, and you can see inside. I think there's also a door at the side. If I walk around. Yep. Ugh, that one really stinks of pee. So not going to hang around there very long. Now let's go and find the last one, bunker number 4, which I think should be the last one, but not entirely sure because there was only 2 on the map and we've already found 2 extras. Okay, here is the 4th and final bunker, and I think we're not going to hang around very long because it's just started raining and it's starting to get dark, so we're going to head back. But here it is. We've come back over to the island this morning, and we are trying to find the highest peak, and you will not believe it, it is a whopping 19 meters tall. Yep, that's right, 19 meters tall. And so far there's absolutely no sign of it at all. Aha! We think we have now found it, the highest point on the island. Here it is. Ta-da! And it's so high that you can just about see it poking out just behind this small mound here. Right, so here we are at the base of this huge peak, and we're ready to go. Even though it's not really that high, there are actually some pretty good views from up here. You can see pretty much 360-degree views all around. There's nothing spectacular, but the views are quite nice, and the walk here has been nice as well, so I'd say it's worth it for that really, more than the actual mound. So after that really strenuous hike, we're now going to go to this cafe where we've been recommended because it's supposed to have some really good cakes. We looked at the reviews and everybody's saying it's really good. Some people are even saying it's the best cake they've ever had. So we're going to go and find out whether that's true. So we've come to this tea room, the Hattersgard Cafe. We asked them what the best cakes were, and they said that this passion fruit cheesecake is very popular, and also this traditional Danish cake, which is chocolate and raspberry cream. And then we also tried some of the coffees, which are supposed to be really good as well. We have a caramel one and an orange mocha, which just sounds interesting. So I'll start with the passion fruit cheesecake. It's quite nice actually. I'm not normally a big fan of fruity flavours, but it's quite nice. It's not too much. The middle bit is not very fruity, but it's just this top bit, and so it balances quite well. Now I will try this traditional cake. Oh my gosh, massive mouthful. I don't love it. Not a big fan of raspberries, and the raspberry taste is quite strong. The top is quite nice, but unfortunately this bit like overwhelms it, this raspberry flavour, so I don't love it. I can eat it, but I don't think I'd get it again.
So let's see what I think. Not quite as big of a mouthful as Claire. Yeah, it's alright, I agree with Claire. I think the raspberry's a little bit overpowering, but overall it's still reasonably nice. And the passion fruit, take the leaves out the way. Yeah, that's not bad actually.
Pleasantly surprised, right?
Yeah, pleasantly surprised. Not really a huge fan of passion fruit, but now time for the coffee. So this one is a creamy caramel coffee. So normally I drink my coffee with quite a lot of milk, but just to taste the flavour, I'll try it black. It's not bad actually. Yeah, I think it's a bit nicer with the milk. It's a little bit less bitter, but yeah, nice flavour overall.
Now I'm going to try the orange mocha. It does actually smell quite orangey. Interesting taste. Not sure about that. Let me try some milk. I think I prefer Craig's caramel one actually. I wasn't a huge fan of either of the flavours. I think I should have just got the plain coffee, but then I feel like if you come to a place like this with all these different varieties, you have to try something a bit different. I'm not a huge fan of fruity flavours. Yeah. And I got an orange flavoured one. But anyway, it was an experience. The whole place is quite nice. It's like a nice little thatched cafe, which is quite a nice environment. There's a sea view. I think it's worth coming once. Probably wouldn't necessarily rush to come here again, especially because we said that we prefer like the chocolate flavours, and they do have quite a lot of chocolate cakes, but it seems like their actual like specialities, the ones that they do the best, are more fruity flavours. So if you do like fruity flavours, I think you should come. We are currently blokarting right now. We've just been blokarting, which was really fun. It's kind of like a wind-powered go-karting kind of thing. I don't know if we got any good videos or not, because we only had the phone with us, and obviously it's not that easy to film on a phone while you're like flying along in the wind trying to control this thing.
Yeah, you've only got so many hands.
Yeah, but it was fun. Yeah, because it was all hand. But yeah, it was a fun thing to do, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really good. I really enjoyed it. It was a little bit expensive, so I wouldn't do it regularly, but I definitely recommend doing it as a one-off. It was good fun.
I think we've seen most of the things that there are to see here on the island. We've just stopped off here in the middle of the dam which connects the island of Rømø back over to the mainland, and this dam is actually over 9 kilometers long, which is crazy. It's really straight and you just feel like you're driving for ages when you're crossing over. Originally we thought it was a bridge, but apparently it's actually a dam. But anyway, now we're leaving the island and we're going back over to the mainland. The reason that we're heading back across to the mainland is because one of the things that you're supposed to be able to see here is the Starling Migration, and the best place to see it is supposed to be over on the marsh, which is in the mainland, and it's just before sunset. It's supposed to be the best time to see it. So we've got a few hours until then still, so we're going to go back to the campsite and do some laundry, which we need to do, and then come out again before sunset and hopefully see this phenomenon. We're looking for the starlings now. So far as we've been driving, we've seen a couple of small little groups, but nothing big, none of the fancy dancing or anything. But we haven't really found a good viewpoint just yet because there's like banks and stuff in the way, so we're going to try and find somewhere where we can get up onto the bank or over the bank to hopefully have a better view and maybe see some, but I don't know, not sure whether we will see any dancing or not. Oh, look, they're right here. We found a good place to stop, and we saw a little bit of it, maybe a few hundred of them, but it wasn't quite like the thousands or hundreds of thousands that you're supposed to be able to see at the peak time. So it was nice to see it, but it wasn't like, you know, spectacular.